Alright guys, if you saw my last video, you're probably interested in this muzzle tapering situation that I have going on, and I'm going to explain a little bit about it. So we just came out with these inserts that are new as of sometime this summer. And this is our diet insert. This is as it comes. This is exactly what it looks like. It restricts the regular holes by about 50%. You can kind of see here how much of the muzzle holes it restricts, and it is compatible with a muzzle that has these 6 slots around, 2 on the sides and then 1 front and back. And then that comes in a regular as well, which would just be basically the exact same pattern that you have, but that's great for a horse with sensitive teeth, or if your muzzle like this one is starting to wear a little thin, you can pop that in there and it will make your grazing muzzle last a little longer. Now this is kind of the next least restrictive, and this is what I'm actually about to put in there now to taper Finnick down for fall. And it is a diet insert that I actually just use an X-Acto knife to enlarge these holes just a little bit. So this restricts about 1/3 more, and you can choose your own adventure on that, than the muzzle as it is. And this one is pretty worn down. So yeah, I'll hold that and you can kind of see that versus that. So it's a little bit more than the other one. And so he'll be going into this one next, and then come winter, I will probably take all the inserts out, or actually just use a regular insert that has the holes the normal size for him, because he has sensitive teeth. And then depending on how his weight goes and what type of winter we have, I might move on to one that I've either chopped out like these two, or I actually have one where I've chopped out just this center one here for the winter. So he's still restricted, but not restricted so much that he's not able to maintain weight and get enough heat during the summer. Now Finnick, a lot of horses aren't muzzle year-round. Finnick is special. He's pretty chunky. He has a really hard time maintaining his weight and his breeding because he has some draft, and he's kind of not quite pony size, but almost, makes him really prone to metabolic things. And he's got some like pre-metabolic things that if I'm not maintaining them could become much bigger issues. So I'm super careful with him. This is actually the muzzle that Wells is wearing right now. And these buttons are just because I added in a little strip here, and all the holes and stuff are from some of my experimenting. I experiment on my horses so I can bring the goods to you guys. So this is one that he is wearing right now because his weight is actually perfect, but I'm a little wary of, as we turn into fall, sometimes the sugar can spike during the cold nights, and he's very sensitive to those changes, and so I don't want him to start getting diarrhea or other like metabolic things. So this is what he's wearing right now, and Finnick would switch into something like this. So if you have an old muzzle laying around, hang on to it even if it's worn really thin, because you can just like chop out 1 or 2 of the little slats and make yourself like a winter muzzle or maybe a fall muzzle. And then so typically like Finnick will be wearing this probably starting in May through most of the summer, and then as the grass starts to kind of chill out and die down, he'll go into something like this, and then into winter he'll go into something like this, and then full on winter something like this. And he can still get hay through, I haven't seen him try to eat hay through this, but he can definitely get hay through this and absolutely get hay through this. This is a great option if you are using it for hay also. And then, you know, come spring again, he'll probably go back to this in like March, and then April, we've got to get right back on this one. That's pretty aggressive as far as grass restriction, but like I said, he's got some issues, and other horses, you know, might be fine in just the regular muzzle year round, or might be fine just like popping this on in the spring and then taking it off in the fall. I also consult with my vet, a nutritionist, as well as I monitor him with a weight tape which is a great way to know if you're like reaching your weight goals, if that's why you're muzzling. And then there's also a body score chart that can be really helpful for helping you determine if you need to go to something a little bit more restrictive. If you only have our older style muzzle without the slats, we do have some ways to modify these inserts. We also have a leather insert that's coming out in a couple months if it's not already out, and that one is actually way easier to modify to work in the older style muzzles, and that one is a little bit more restrictive than just the muzzle as it is, but it's not quite as restrictive as the diet insert. So it's like kind of in between. It has a little bit wider section through here. So I'd say it maybe restricts about 25% more than the muzzle as is. So that's another option for you. But yeah, if you have an old muzzle laying around, you can absolutely modify it to be your hay muzzle or your winter, fall, spring, early spring muzzle. And yeah, I would love to see what you guys do, but this is what I do for my guys.